Hey kids, what's up? We are back once again for another episode of the newly resurrected Why Do I Own This? Right here, the Watchtower Podcast, thewatchtowerpodcast.com, all kinds of cool stuff going on there. Including, I remembered we had a Facebook page. Yeah, we did that a while ago, and I remembered it. So we got a Facebook page there, so swing by thewatchtowerpodcast.com. You can check out the links. You can find our Twitter and follow me and Donnie on that. Even the naked nerd there, that Catherine Curtis girl that I keep hearing so much about. This week on Why Do I Own This, I wanted to do something a little special in honor of the big news of the week, obviously the death of Johnny Storm. Now, there was a lot of people that ran into stores and bought this cool issue because it was in a sweet bag, and I kept saying to them, well, hey man, do you want the issues leading up to it? So they're like, no, just that one, dude, because it's like totally going to be worth a lot, brah. And, well, I'd like to bring by two examples, shall we say, two of the most glaring examples of that kind of thinking. The first, of course, is Superman number 75. Now, what's interesting about this issue is that it is the issue where Superman dies, obviously. We all know this. You know, spoiler alert. Oh, man, look at me, I'm all dead and stuff. Oh, crap. For the most part, actually a pretty well put together issue, you know. Every page is a big page-size splash, which is kind of nice. There are some questionable things that happen in this book, though. For example, why are Lois and Jimmy just kind of hanging out right next to this big battle that's going on? And I mean, Lois gets right into it. Look at that. She's in danger. Like, that's not good. This guy's so powerful, he's going to kill Superman. My God. Another question that I had about this book, I don't know who decided to dress the bystanders, but the happy Bugs Bunny sweater, I don't know if it was really appropriate for the occasion. These are the things that I notice. And one more thing that popped into my mind as I leafed through this book that's going to be worth millions one day, is that there's this page here. And if you have a look at this here, it's very touching. You have Clark and Lois, you know, I'll always love you, and this kind of thing. And there's Jimmy, just hanging out in the background, the ace reporter and photographer, who if he'd just turn around for a good 4 seconds, would have the biggest story of all time. So, more exposing some flaws in the journalistic integrity of the world of Superman. I think that's what this book did in terms of its overlasting effect. If you have one of these at home, you know, good for you. Good for you. It's probably number 2 on the list. No, actually, you know what? This would be number 1. Spawn number 1 would be number 2 on the list of comics that I hear about the most, where people are like, oh man, it's going to be worth so much money one day, just wait. The other one that I want to rock your world with right now is this guy right here. X-Men number 1, the Jim Lee cover. Everyone and their dog had a copy of this. I think the final run was 8 million printed or something like that. Again, for its time, pretty amazing book. You know, Jim Lee's art is always great. Chris Claremont doing the writing. Again, though, some things that we can sort of have a look at and say, why is that happening? For example, S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D., for some reason, has giant 10-story posters of all of their enemies so that they can throw them up on the wall, just, you know, if they come up in casual conversation. Like, hey, man, you remember Magneto? No, I don't. Let me show you. Bam! Yeah. So I'm always kind of curious about that. Some very cool stuff goes on, though, with the fighting and blah, blah, blah. At one point, though, Wolverine gets close to Charles Xavier, and Cyclops feels the need to explain Wolverine's powers to him, which I think is kind of interesting. And also sort of indicative of the way comics were done at the time. Like, everyone seemed to speak in exposition for some reason, and I'll never really understand that. And there's also a shot for the fanboys. I think I'll just let that speak for itself. But my favorite part of this issue is the last page, in which Magneto embarks on a monologue. And it is... If you have this issue at home, I think you should go pull it out, and I want you to read aloud all of Magneto's dialogue. And it takes about a half an hour. So they're all just standing there while he talks and talks and talks and talks and talks and talks and talks. which I always thought was kind of neat. So, there you go. Why do I own these? Well, for the same reason that everyone owns these. They're a piece of comic history. But guess what they're worth? Exactly the exactly the paper they're printed on. There you go. I'm trying to be cool and end up just being, well,